got much left, do we? We got water though, so I got one more drink left, and that's about it. Wow, close that. Okay. Some broccoli. That's good for you. Well, the restaurant I went to yesterday was called Dreamcatchers at the casino. Okay, here's where we're going right here. We're going to Whitefish Point. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go the other way. She's doing something. I'm not sure what. So I'll go this way. Gotta turn left. This is called Whitefish Bay Scenic Byway Mich Overlook. Naom. The sun's coming out. There's a lot of fish in that lake, eh? But when there's an essence left in a person when they die, when they're reborn, and their previous life's experiences, they can't like remember them the way you might remember what you did yesterday or what you're supposed to do on a test, or you know how to do this or that, but you get a feeling or an emotion. And so if you died drowning, you're going to be afraid of water in your next life for no reason at all. You know, nobody's going to know, why is he afraid of the tub, or something like that. And then a positive example is, why can they play the violin and they've never seen a violin, and they get old enough to use their hands and they can pick the violin up and play it? Well, it's because in a previous life they already learned how to play the violin, and they retained some of that. And we're going to see more and more of that in coming decades, where kids can do things that they're not supposed to be able to do, or that there's no reason that they should be able to do it. And I've had that happen in my life. Not with the violin, though. And I was not interested in religion either. I grew up in a Catholic family, and I twiddled my thumbs while they said grace, and kind of, I didn't believe in any of it, and I had no reason not to. And I think it was that I had already woke up to the truth in my previous life. I think that I had already left religion in a previous life, but I'd also had an exposure to religion, so I was at the same time attracted to it. And I think I might have been probably exposed to Catholicism, and so I was initially opposed to religion. Kind of a love-hate relationship with it, I guess you could say. But if you get it scared enough, you embrace it and love it. But as far as knowledge is concerned, you realize, okay, there's disadvantages to it too. There's stuff that's wrong with it. But I'm not the only one that's had those experiences. But the natives up here especially were all converted to Catholicism. And I think some of them still have some attachment to it in the same way, and some just, maybe they were raised Catholic, but they don't embrace it. They know that they can't live with it. And it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. I might have lived up here at some time in a past life. But people have been like 4 years old and they start talking about things that they shouldn't know anything about. This happens all over the world, not just India. And their parents are like, what is this, this kid nuts? And then they start to realize this stuff's, they look it up on the internet or something, they find these places really exist that this kid's talking about. And they actually find the places, and then they go to the house, and it's like, yeah, but the house has got a yellow door. No, it was painted. It was red underneath. Maybe the kid said, oh, there's a house with a big red door. And they'll go there, and it has a yellow door, and they'll go up to it, and they'll realize this was painted yellow over red by the, later in time. And so, yeah, and the house is exactly the way the kid describes it and everything. This kind of stuff happens all the time. There's actually been crimes solved based on what kids have actually solved their own deaths. They say there's a body in such and such a place, and they've actually caught criminals because the kid could actually tell the police. Somebody listened, and they told, this actually happened in Israel. He solved his own crime. He solved his own death, and they found the guy, and they were able to convict him because they found the body. They were able to prove it. So there is, and the CIA is studying, the military is studying all this stuff. It's gotten their attention. It's real. It's real if you close your eyes to it and stick your head in the sand, it's not real. We got plenty of sand around here to stick your head in too. And in Necedah as well. But if you open your mind up, you'll realize this is almost undeniable. That at least some of us reincarnate. I never even really gave it much of a thought, and I remember I went to the shrine, and we'd gone to the prayers and everything, and it was like a vigil feast day, and there was a lot of people there, and I started talking to a guy, and he says, I'm remembering past lives, and he started talking about it, and it's like we were both Catholic, and he was saying how he was remembering stuff from another life, and he knew what it was. And I said, well, you're not supposed to remember that.